Welcome to the Dice Tower Spring Spectacular, featuring top 10s, live plays, contests, and more.
Introduce you.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Board Game Smorgasbord. We're really glad to have you here. I'm Tom Vasso.
I'm Mike DeLisio.
I'm Camilla Cleghorn.
I'm Z Garcia.
All right. Well, this is the last day of the Spring Spectacular. We're almost done, but we have a full day of stuff for you today. We have Board Game
Smorgasbord.
Smorgasbord.
Yeah,
Rocking
almost
it.
said it.
Yep.
Oh, you almost said it. You got so close, I could taste it. Like breakfast food.
And directly after this is
Top 10.
Top 10 nature games. I hear that these are actually nature games this time.
I don't know.
I'm not
I
so
don't
sure.
know. I'm bringing in some controversy, I
I
think.
wouldn't trust everybody who's on that list to know what nature games are.
Anyone
I want to be
specifically you
clear.
want to name?
I would trust anyone on that list to know what nature games are. All right, and then we'll be playing Earth today.
Yes.
And
More nature.
Yeah.
that is nature.
It is?
Thunder
Really?
Road
I can use
Vendetta.
it.
Road, Vendetta, and then Graham is going to be giving a top 10 list today. I think that's all the things going on today, but it's a lot of cool
That's
things.
a lot of things.
And then there's this show. This show! Is there a contest?
No, we're playing those.
We have contests coming. They're coming. They're coming for you. But before we have a contest, no, we don't have a contest, but contests are coming.
Yeah.
Oh, there is a contest.
There is a contest.
There is a contest, folks.
Contest.
Is there a contest?
Hypothesis.
Yes, you can win
What's the
something.
game?
Cat in the box and hypothesis.
Cat in a box. We have cat in a box right here. Mike is hiding it. Mike
Get it
is
out
the
of the
cat in a
box.
box.
That's right.
All right, so cat in a box, a trick-taking game where all the cards are the same color. It's really good for people who can't memorize, like who can't card count.
Right.
I'm
'cause
not
it's-
kidding.
No, because there's that board that you can see what's been
true.
played.
Right, so it's one of the few games where you know every card that's been played. You can win a copy of this. All you have to do is email us at contest@dicetower.com. In the subject line, put hypothesis, which is spelled happily for you down below. I would have misspelled it.
Hypothesis.
Hypothesis. No, that is
We're
correct.
currently Googling it to see
I'm
if it's
taking
right.
this with me. This is my copy now.
Is it? Okay. Mike is starting to show off with lies. Here's some things that aren't lies, though. We got a couple of announcements from a couple companies here. So we're going to start off with that. We're going to show you these announcements, and since we're going to talk about them, we'll then go into the news. Here you go.
Okay.
Hi! While you are all enjoying the Spring Spectacular, we at Simon are still in a frosty winter wonderland. And that's because our Zombicide White Death Kickstarter campaign is still alive and will be for one more week, so we're pretty snowed under. It's a new box in the Fantasy line, and Zombicide has never been cooler. The campaign was fully funded in 18 minutes, and ever since we've just been unlocking stretch goal after stretch goal. That's not to mention the expansions. There's Eternal Empire, the very first campaign expansion in the Fantasy line with a story that unfolds throughout 10 scenarios. And the very special character pack we just unveiled a few days ago. It contains a few relatively well-known characters you might have heard of. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. If this is giving you the chills, yeah, it's not just the cold. Well, we are all out of time and I'm all out of ice buns, so let's call it a day. We'll see you in the campaign. Have a nice day. Ha, fun no more.
Hi everybody, I'm Eleni. You might know me from Check Games Edition YouTube channel, and I'm very excited to announce to all of you CG's new upcoming meaty and crunchy Euro with the name of Kunahora. Kunahora is a historical city-building Eurogame, and the inspiration came from the real Czech city of Kunahora. And what's so special about this game? Well, it combines dynamic economy and income, tile placement, area influence, and action selection. Each round, players take turns selecting actions from a hand of double-sided cards to engage in strategic plans like mining, purchasing plots of land to build on, gaining permits, raising buildings for their affiliated guilds, gaining profit from their production, and of course working towards the construction of a grandiose St. Barbara's Cathedral. The game is planned to be released in Essenspiel 2023, and that's all I can reveal to you at the moment, but if you'd like more info, you can subscribe to the game's BGG page, where we'll be posting more articles, news, and images from the game.
Smelt precious silver to develop a medieval royal city and build a stunning Gothic cathedral, with influence and aid from prominent guilds and intrepid miners in Kunahora, the City of Silver. Coming soon from Czech Games Edition.
Welcome to the news, which just downloaded on my computer.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. It's
That's
time.
how good
How
timing.
convenient. All right, so we're going to take a look at the news items that we just heard about.
Okay.
First of all, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Teenage Mutant.
Time crash.
Time Crash. So this is an expansion for Zombicide White Death. This is kind of one of those expansions that, for me, eclipses the game. Like,
Yeah,
you're like White
absolutely.
Death.
A lot
I'm
of
like,
people.
eh.
I think a lot of people.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I'm in.
Yeah, I'll repeat my comment from yesterday in crowd surfing. Like, it makes me so angry that this isn't a standalone game. I want Zombicide Ninja Turtles.
Well-
Not an expansion, like I want a standalone, like
Well,
that's what I want.
Let me ask this. Can you play this with any of the Zombicides?
Not quite, I think. I think you need one of the. At the very least, I'm taking a leap here. I'm assuming you need at least a core, one of the core fantasy boxes.
Well, that's fine. No, like I'm saying, does this work with Black Plague, you think?
Maybe.
Either
Not
way,
thematically, because they're dressed up like samurais and
That is
stuff.
true.
I
So,
do like
no.
them dressed up
But
like
are they like
Yeah.
samurais.
traveling
That's kind of a
through
cool
time? I guess
thing.
couldn't you just make like they came from?
No,
Okay.
that's not how theme works.
They
Mike.
raided a
Camilla
museum.
has no imagination.
I want to play this with modern, actually.
Yeah.
You
Yes,
played
that's
second
what I
edition
want.
with this, but that doesn't really work. Anyway, it's very cool. I agree. Standalone would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Turtle Power. All right, then CGE announced this.
Come on.
This this game
The City of Silver. Let's go with that.
was it Kunahora?
Sure. I have no idea.
So this here is from these designers, 60 to 120 minutes. Every year, CG has one or two big games. Last year they had two. They had the Starship Captains and then Deal with the Devil.
Oh yeah.
And then year before that was Arnab, right?
I don't remember if COVID has messed everything up. I'm not
Yeah.
100% sure where
Yeah.
Arnak landed.
I think Arnak is older than that, yeah. Because it was before I moved down here.
Anyway,
so
I don't love
it's
this
been older.
cover, but the game, of course,
don't.
sounds interesting. The idea of discovering silver to constructing these cities. Historical city building Euro game for 2 to 4 players. Every action you take impacts the game's dynamic economic systems.
Do we know any of these designers?
Can't see
Well, that's a good question, Mike, and I'm prepared to answer that.
Oh,
So,
Toot sweet.
too sweet.
It still came up.
it did come up. Okay, so.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, Thomas Thinking.
All right, so the first designer, whose name I cannot pronounce, nope, this is his only game.
Okay.
The second designer has designed 2 games. The other one was Adrenaline. He did the
okay.
solo play for
I see.
Adrenaline.
Okay.
And the other, nope, these are all brand new
Wow.
designers.
Oh,
Interesting.
interesting.
Okay.
Okay.
We said the
This is-
exact
I
same
know,
thing.
right? Gosh, get out of my
Jinx,
head.
buy me a
I-
Coke and put it in an udder mug.
There is. You
No.
can find a Q&A designer,
that was on the line.
a Q&A designer video if you want to find out more about this
Okay.
game. So, and it says it has very asymmetrical systems. There's blogs here. I'm looking at them now. It has cardboard computers.
What?
What?
No, look, they're sticking this computer and sliding these dials back and forth to change things.
my
Oh, very
Hey,
Turing
what?
machine.
Oh boy.
What?
Oh boy.
It's like a Turing machine.
Okay, look
type
at that.
thing,
Look at that.
you know?
You're turning these dials. And, man, okay, this has me in.
Yeah, that looks.
Are we still looking at the silver game?
We are.
Same thing.
Wow.
That
They
does
should
not.
put that
That
stuff on
doesn't
the
look
cover,
like
right?
that cover. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
cover
Yeah,
makes
but
it
this
look very
looks
dry.
cool. It's a what
I
it looks
can't
like
see
is
it.
it looks like they took the escape wheel from the exit game
Oh,
the
from
game.
Exit.
put it
wheel,
in
yeah.
a game. I'm really
Wow.
on that. If it works well, that's cool.
No, that looks neat. That looks neat.
Like that?
Yes, I'm a fan of like toys and things. And, like, I want to play with my games.
Yep.
It does seem very tactile. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can find all that on the Board Game Geek page for
Interesting.
this thing.
All right, I try it.
All right, other news. So from GMT and Ed Beach, the designer, we have Border
Reavers.
Reavers.
This, so you may not have
Like Reavers, like Firefly?
no.
No.
Oh.
Like
Anyway,
Anglo
he
Scottish
designed a
Border Raid.
very, very popular game called Here I Stand from GMT, which is based on the Reformation. And in that game, I believe it's a 5 or 6 player game. I don't remember how many players exactly, but each one's a different faction. You might be the Protestants, you might be the Catholics, you might be the Germans, whether they weren't called Germans necessarily, but the Empire was called the Holy Roman Empire.
Oh, the Holy Roman Empire,
Holy Roman
yeah.
Empire. Different factions involved, and they all have different goals. It's like a war-style game, but not necessarily war. Very critically acclaimed. I've never played it because it's like a 6-hour, 5-player game, and
Yeah.
those are hard to get to the table.
And Maria, I think, was another game he did.
Virgin Queen.
Virgin
Queen,
Gotcha.
also
Okay.
very well known. This, though, is Britain and Scotland fighting each other, and so they fought each other so much, they established a system of march law where they divided their borderlands into an East, Middle, and West March, and there were wardens in charge of them. And so you are going to roll over one of these marchers as one of these 6 major families of the border, and you want to be better than the other ones around you.
All right, all right.
That sounds cool.
It's a neat cover, actually. I really do like that cover. I don't know why exactly. 'Cause
It gives
it's
you a
just
feeling of
photo, but
loneliness
It
to
does.
me. I'm like,
It does.
oh.
It's evocative. I'll say that. Evocative of what? I'm not sure, but evokes something.
All right. Our next game was just announced this week. It's from Captain Games.
I don't know that I've heard of Captain Games.
They made that really interesting party game that we
I was
played. Where
waiting
you
for
took
the
the
word.
cards, where you took the cards out. I'm gonna.
I'm making Tom do all kinds of research. today.
Blah, 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 blah. Captain Games. I know the game and I forget the name of it. 13 words.
Oh,
There were 13 words, and you pulled
got
one
it.
out.
Yes. Okay.
And when we met them at Essen, they were all wearing captain hats and
That's
surrounded
right.
us. And I was
That's
like,
right.
I felt
Okay.
like I was in like a subway and a bunch of people were trying to sell me something.
I felt like I was in the Love Boat.
But anyway, this is very different. And the designer of this game is Fabian Gritto, who designed Turing Machine,
Oh,
which doesn't look anything like this game.
Okay.
So the
Well, I
one,
definitely know they're brilliant. Smart,
yeah, right. I mean,
right.
kudos to them. I'm
this is a
glad.
1 to 5 player game. It lasts 1 to 2 hours, which is pretty impressive for
Yeah.
a Civ game.
Right.
And grow your population. It has all the beats of a Civ game.
Sure.
There's Gandhi in it.
But I hope so.
I don't see it on
The
there.
game is played simultaneously,
Oh,
so
boy.
that sounds interesting.
Okay.
I'm assuming
that could
means
be good. That
we all
could
take
be
our turns at the same
interesting,
time.
but-
I have hopes for this game.
Okay.
So,
I like the look of this. I do.
Yeah, it could be.
odd second game.
I
the
would
first
love this game to not
really
make me
like
feel
party
stupid,
game
but
to this.
It's just odd when the logo is as big as the face of the other people. It's like, is the captain one of the civilizations?
oh,
It's
wow,
a large
almost like,
logo in the corner. It's a good logo, but it's
all right.
very large.
almost like covering that one person behind
That's
it
right.
too.
It's covering Gandhi.
All right, then we have Planto Nubo. Planto Nubo.
Ooh,
This is the new
pretty.
Uwe Rosenberg game, but it's not. It's one of the new Uwe. It's not the one from Lookout.
No, this is the one that did Applejack, I think.
Yes, the Game Builders is the
good.
name of this
Game
one.
Builders.
oh.
Applejack is the game that we thought was okay.
Yeah.
Did
right?
we?
But
Not all of us thought that.
Well, I think I gave it a 6.
Oh, you
or
actually
5.
disliked it.
I disliked it.
Okay, I didn't dislike it, but I also didn't love it. It's
Yeah.
just there's a lot of work and a lot of numbers, and I wasn't sure what I was doing.
And it was boring.
And I want to say that was their debut game. That was the first game that Game Builders did, if I remember right, at Essen last year, and this is a follow-up. And
it looked really good.
This
Yeah,
is also
looks
not.
really
like
good, yeah.
the design was very stimulating on the table, but yeah.
It's not just Uwe Rosenberg. It
Right.
also is Michael Keller, who on this advertisement they just say
Mike.
And
I don't know, it's-
Andreas Odendahl.
Yeah, Ode just goes by Ode or Ode. That's always a thing.
That's a thing, yeah.
They go by that already.
Does Michael Keller go by
I
Mike?
doubt it, which is weird.
I just want to know why they didn't go Mike.
Because Ode is the one who's done like Ranha.
Yeah, right.
And a few other big games.
Steelworks
They're
stuff.
they're a
Mike
known
answered
publisher.
in the chat. Answered my question. I was like, any relation to Mike Heller in the chat? Like, always in there.
Come on, Mike.
No.
This was your chance to take
Gosh,
the glory and the
man.
credit.
Oh man,
We thought you were cool for a moment.
me and Uva are like this.
All right, our next game is a two-player cooperative
Now
game
we're
with limited
talking.
communication called Sky Team from
like it.
Scorpion Mass.
I like
Limited
that cover.
communication.
Okay.
Is that what you said?
You've played this game.
What?
You've played this game, Z.
Oh, they
Z,
played
remember
this at the
playing this?
Gathering.
Z and
with
I played
Turing
this-
Machine, like the same time we played Turing Machine.
Last year or 2 years ago, I
Yeah.
forget where. That was 2 years ago, in 21. And you are working
Okay.
together
I'm
to
cool.
land a
Can't back
plane.
off.
Oh my gosh.
You're working together to land a plane. So it's like you're like using dice, like make it go a little bit this way, but you can't communicate with each other, just like actual life.
Just like pilot
where
and
the pilot
co-pilot.
co-pilot are not allowed to
No,
talk.
right.
No.
Well, the
I
headset's
really-
broken.
Disliked my play of this
Really? Oh.
so much because the theme actively drove me nuts.
Oh,
You're
that
not
makes me so
landing a
sad.
plane going, I hope he's doing the same thing I'm doing. That drove me nuts.
The pilot's looking at the co-pilot.
I don't think it's a bad game. I struggled with the theme. Also, I played a prototype 2 years ago,
It was a
so it
long
could have
time.
changed.
Yes.
Did you like it? Did you
I
remember?
don't remember liking it.
Oh, that makes me so sad because I like the look of it. I like the idea of it. I like the.
I might. I mean,
Oh.
again, this was a long time ago, so I might like it now. But
It might, again, it might work really well. So take that in mind. It just that theme still drives me a little bit crazy.
I do like the cover, though.
it
Gosh,
looks
I like
great.
that. It is striking.
All right. Well, look at this cover. Apple Grove. This cover
Wait.
is from
Oh,
That's Sandra Bosley.
Andrew Bosley.
That's pretty.
You don't like that cover?
She
Me?
does. I think.
No, that was a happy face. That was a happy.
I don't know.
That
I
was
was
a happy
confused.
groan.
That looked
Not
like
an angry
I'm
groan.
pretending to
That's
be
different.
happy. Okay.
No, that was
Apple Grove.
Anyway, this is
That's
from,
super cute.
Apples.
funnily enough, Tangerine Games.
Tangerine game. Well, that's odd.
They can't do that.
That's yeah.
Tangerine
So,
Games is a new company. It looks like.
Look how happy
looks
that
like
lady
it.
is carrying those apples. I love this.
You're putting, you roll dice to determine what kind of apple trees you can plant in your orchard using a color wheel mechanic that determines whether you'll need to build fences between
Wait.
your trees.
Why aren't there apples on the top half of the tree?
They already got those.
They've already,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
they've already been
not
harvested.
okay.
That's how it works.
That guy
Okay.
is
Science.
hanging very precariously
Science.
off that ladder
Fungus,
too.
pimples.
He's like another degree or so from coming toppling down right now.
All right. The next game is the
Yes.
Glade. Now, Z, when you take a look at this cover here, there's
Okay.
another Apple game.
Okay,
No,
let's
it's
see.
not.
Well,
but it looks like it.
Okay, it looks like an Apple game. Sorry. Well, if we pull up the Glade, I want Z. Oh, you can see
You
the
can
name of the
see
company on it.
name,
Never
yeah.
mind.
You'd never know though.
That's an R&D game from Richard Brees.
I would not have guessed that.
No, it doesn't look like
Nobody
any
would
of his
guess
other
that.
games.
It really looks different. And I hate to say this, looks really good. That sounds negative.
No.
Richard Brees has a very distinctive style with his games. If you've played his games, they're the key games mostly.
almost
And then
all.
Inhabit the Earth, which has one of the best covers of all time.
All time.
Yeah.
Look it up. And then, but I warned you. But this looks, I think of all the games we're talking about today, this one I'm most excited about. It looks really fun.
That's beautiful,
And it
man.
looks-
I mean, it looks very abstract.
It does.
Yeah.
But
I'm
I
not
wouldn't necessarily call Richard Brees' games abstract.
I agree. I would not
Yeah.
call them abstract. This looks more abstract than his
Yeah.
usual designs, you know?
Right.
Does it say anything about the mechanisms?
You're drawing tiles from a bag, and you're creating sets of 3 tiles to put your toadstool counters onto the central board. So you're pulling
Again
tiles
with
from
the
a bag,
mushrooms?
putting them on your own board to put mushrooms in the middle.
So you make patterns on your board, and then you transfer that to a central board. Okay, very abstract.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I'm intrigued.
interesting.
mushrooms?
It seems
I
very.
hate
You know what
mushrooms.
this sounds like? A Nuva Rosenberg game.
It does sound
It
like
does.
a Nuve game, yeah.
The smaller ones, you know.
Yeah,
I was thinking more Cromer, but
But then you have to feed your mushrooms.
Feed your mushrooms with dirt.
all right. The next one is called The Last Spell.
Now we're cooking.
This is from
me s-
Tabula Games. So the last Tabula game, not
the-
real keen on
That
it.
was
Rail.
No, the one with the masks.
The Forest of Ravenrail.
Yeah, whatever it's called.
Oh, yes.
Rivendell.
Unfortunately, it had very bad
Go
rule
with the little
book.
plastic guys would like wear the masks.
Oh.
That's Tabula.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what
So-
Tabula makes a lot of
Yeah.
very.
Yep, got it.
They're like half Euro, half Ameritrash
Yeah,
type
the
games.
hybrid style games.
Anyway, this one, you are a hardened warrior whose only purpose in life is to desperately defend the last of the mages.
That's so sad.
While trying to cast the last spell and banish all magic from the world and maybe save us all.
It's based off of a video.
Maybe.
Game, apparently.
Really?
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with
Based on the video game The Last Spell. It's set in a dark fantasy post-apocalyptic world.
Hello.
And you have 3 cycles of day and night, and you'll use daylight hours to bolster the game economy, fortify defenses against nocturnal invaders, and upgrade their heroes' equipment to unlock more power.
Okay.
This is a good written description.
Yeah.
It sounds very good.
It sounds compelling, yeah.
Someone is saying the video game is great here in chat.
You
so
can
I'm not familiar
choose
with
to
it.
play,
Not either.
embark on a campaign that challenges you with increasing levels of difficulty, or play single scenarios.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Who
Anyway,
designed this? That's the main thing. Tom, what else have they
I know.
designed?
I do know that.
Nestor Mangon.
I know that name.
You know that
I
name?
do know that
I
name.
hate you all.
I know that spell.
Nestor. I know. That name is very familiar to me.
Okay, so The Last Spell, the board game, which we said is being designed by Nestor
Nestor
Mangone.
Mangone.
He's designed Newton,
Yeah,
Darwin's
that's
Journey,
Exactly.
Autobahn.
Autobahn.
Oh.
What? And the other guy is designed Volfarion,
Volfarion.
which I've not played, but is...
It's also from Tabula.
Oh, wait,
Yeah.
I did play this game. Yeah. Anyway, so interested in...
One of those people is like, one of the two there has a lot of credits
a lot of
heavy
Euro
Euros
heavy,
that
yeah.
are generally well regarded, well respected.
I agree.
This is promising to me. I'm not a Tabula Games fan. They're a little big and unwieldy for
Yeah.
me, but that sounds cool, man. And I might have to check this video game out.
It says it's coming out in 24, which makes me assume that it's about to come out on Kickstarter.
be, yeah.
I would guess that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tabula
Announced
Games
it
has
this
done
early.
everything on most of the stuff. All right, from Space Cow, which is Space Cowboy's desperate attempt to make good kids games. I say that because so far this series has not blown me away.
Yeah. Well,
But this one's called Seasons Keepers. This is a cooperative game. They're trying to make it. It's going to come with a book, like the adventure book games from Plaid Hat. Mm-hmm. There's 5 replayable adventure modes, and you read a card, flip cards, find objects, hidden stuff. I hope it's good.
yeah.
It's
That
cute
cover-
looking.
That cover does not say cooperative. Between like the wolf in the background and the RBF on
Well, maybe
the little
that wolf is the
mouse
bad
right there. Like,
Maybe the wolf is the bad guy, and you're the 4 in the front, and he's the enemy.
what about that one in the front? What's she up to?
She's
She just got kicked out of school.
That's
She's
right.
got a bone to pick.
She definitely is not happy about something. She wants to speak to the manager.
I love it.
She really wants to speak to the manager.
All right, our next game is Pacifica. Pacifica
Get ready, Z.
is...
Two-player Cosmos.
This is a 2-player Cosmos
Hey,
game.
That's a-
ooh,
I like
oh my
that color.
gosh, I love that look.
I
I
love
knew you'd
that
be into
color.
this.
That
As soon as I
reminds
saw
me
it.
of the Antoine Boza game
Yeah, the with
with the submarine.
Oceano or something.
Oceanus.
Oh.
Something like that.
These 2 designers have worked together before on a game called Helios.
So Matthias Prince is the one who did the dirt digging game, and he hasn't really done anything else, right?
Well, he's done a game Scotland Yard, the dice game, Redcliffe Bay Mysteries,
Oh, I'm thinking of a different Prince.
Chrono
That's Peter.
Cops.
That's
Yeah.
Peter Prince.
and the other one is a game called Race to the Newfoundland, which I believe I played and gave a 6 to. Council of Shadows, which I believe I never played.
Okay.
And Redcliffe Bay Mystery is also one I've not heard of.
That's a terrific looking cover, though.
That
Helios,
is
has
striking.
anyone here played that? I have not.
I don't know that I've played
Came out in
that.
2014 from Z-Man, when Z-Man was just plastering the walls
Yeah, I
with
mean, I
games.
recognize the cover, but I don't think I've played it. But
I don't care. This looks great. Let's play it.
Cosmos 2-player line, generally speaking, does well. You know what I
2-player.
mean?
Me and Z do those. You can look for the solo variant.
You'll find out. I'm going to Germany and I'm getting it early.
All right.
I got Matthias on speed dial.
Fantasy Flight Games announced their next expansion for Marvel Champions in one of the most unsurprising reveals ever. As they put a brick wall up, then they showed the shadows of the people. We wondered,
Gee, is that Cable? Could that be Domino?
and who would bust through a brick wall?
I'm the
Kool-Aid Man.
Juggernaut. The Kool-Aid Man actually was a leading suspicion, but turned out to be the Juggernaut.
Now,
Oh, yeah!
Besides making fun of the campaign there, I do think these are characters people are really pumped about, for
Yeah,
sure.
this looks good. They took a big break there in their announcements and their releases even. There was sort of a giant pause where the game seemed to be holding its breath, and now finally there's some new information coming.
Yeah, in the box is Cable and Domino, and
Yeah.
you're also going to fight against Juggernaut, Mr. Sinister.
You're going to be happy about that,
And the
Mr.
Marauders.
Sinister. When I say you, I don't know why, because you're not going to play this. But
I am so far behind in this game.
1 to
You love
10,
it.
your excitement level on this one specifically? 1 to 10?
9.5.
9.
9. Okay,
all
okay,
right.
okay.
Excited. I need more stuff.
All right, 9. That's pretty good.
And then our last piece of news, which apparently Mike thinks, it's the second last piece, but Mike puts them these in the order that he thinks are
That's
important.
correct, baby.
Come Sail Away.
Sashi.
OAW are yellow because...
That's gorgeous. I love that. Sashi and Daryl Chow, they did Remember Our Trip, I believe, together.
And what's the one with the camera? Oh, is that Remember Our Trip? Oh, then the elevator, right? The elevator doors?
I don't know if they were, if
No, Sashi has done all of those.
Sashi's
yes,
done all of it, but this is,
Daryl
yeah.
Chow is, I guess, a co-designer.
co-designer
on
on this one, yeah.
I don't know. I'm assuming the second letter is the one highlighted there because being second in line and matters or something, Tom? I don't really know.
Oh, I like that.
Could
That's
be.
clever.
That's what in front of the elevators has that little bit of thing. Sometimes you
Yeah.
want to be in front, sometimes you don't want to be back a little bit. So, hey, I mean, I tend to love their games. You tend to love their games.
Yeah.
So, or at
They're
least
very
like them,
interesting. They're clever, sometimes esoteric,
Yes.
but always distinct and clever.
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll see.
Got a soft spot for Sashi stuff.
Yep.
All right,
Sashi and Sashi.
Finally,
And Sashi,
in
yeah.
somewhat surprising news, everyone here's new favorite company, Fantasia.
Well, look, they were coming out the gate really hard.
Sure, but they
did.
got to come out the gate. We haven't even played their big game yet. Well, you guys played a
which
pre-production
one?
copy.
Well, I mean, I played Endless Winter.
Yeah, it's okay. No, I'm kidding. All right, so Fantasia is Endless Winter, and they have the upcoming
Unconscious Mind.
Unconscious
Unconscious
Mind.
Mind. That's a good 1-2
Yeah.
punch to start
It
with.
is.
Now they're going to be reprinting Coliseum. So Coliseum from
Oh.
Days
Yes.
of Wonder, and then
TMG.
Tasty Minstrel Games did it. I'm wondering about this because on one hand, a Fantasia implementation of this is amazing.
Yeah.
I love Coliseum and stuff.
Okay.
Is there a market for this? Because the TMG one did not do particularly well.
It did not, but I just based off of little things, and I don't have any inside information beyond like a little. I guess Johnny Pack, who's part of Fantasia, I guess he kind of leaked this on a podcast somewhere.
Oh, did he?
And,
Okay.
And that's where this kind of came out. And from what little I've been able to glean, I think that like Kramer and Kiesling are involved in this, and maybe they're going to add some stuff. Maybe they're going to do a little bit of tweak.
Interesting.
You know, the production's going to be nice, right? I mean, that's one thing you can be sure of. But you know, Days of Wonder production was stunning. So we'll see.
It's interesting too because I mean, obviously the company is growing. You know, because they just a couple months ago announced what's the name of their
Like the side.
company,
yeah, I
and
can't
they
remember what
currently
it's called.
have that one game in development as well.
Yeah,
From the designer Parks, can't think of his name, but
Yeah.
Anyway, and so I was like,
Audubon.
yeah, that's still in development and that
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
stuff. And this is another big project to be taking on.
Richard asked in the comments, I always question why Days of Wonder didn't do it again. I know the answer to that. It didn't sell as well as their
Right.
games by a mile. They wanted it to sell well. Days of Wonder has Ticket to Ride. They got Shadows of Camelot. They have a Small World. Those sold immensely well. 5 Tribes.
Yeah.
But many of their other games did not.
Even ones that are kind of like audience darlings, so to speak. Don't
Cleopatra,
necessarily
the
sell
same
well.
thing happened. It just didn't sell as well, like by a large factor. So,
So you're saying you're worried that they're too busy?
No, I don't think. I'm not worried about it. Actually, it's really interesting. It seems like I know they're caught coming off
They're coming.
of,
Yeah.
of
This is
Endless Winter.
This is an established design. I mean, they're going to do little
Yeah.
tweaks and things like that, but you know, the design's done. You know.
No, I mean, no. So it's not that I'm worried. It's like I hope to see them grow
Yeah.
because I do like what they have done, and like I did enjoy Endless Winter. But yeah, it's just they have a lot going on. Was my only. It was just a statement. It wasn't of concern or anything. Just like, oh, this is surprising to me because there's Unconscious Minds. There's that Cannot Think for the Life of Me. The Flow game is the name of the game. I can't think of the company, but
Yeah.
Anyway, there's just a
Pika
lot.
Games, maybe?
Pika.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
it. There's just a lot of movement with them right now.
that's the news. Play these games usually to give you guys a chance.
No,
Oh, is that what it is?
you don't play the covers because you're too good at it.
That's what I said. All right, so here we go,
humility
folks.
in this room.
Our top 3 breakfast foods.
Let's go.
And for purposes of this list, I'm going to just succumb to the cultures of our society.
What?
You're gonna
Wait.
succumb
Hold up. Wait
to
a
the
minute.
culture
Oh,
Cake
I'm
is not on your list.
What does
I'm
that
on
even
Tom's.
mean?
Cake is not
I'm
on
Tom's
the
side.
list.
See, you're talking.
No, listen. Okay, so I'm not going to be my typical ranty thing. This is all I'm even saying about it.
Yeah.
Let's just do top 3 breakfast food,
Yeah.
even though tacos could be on the list. But okay, go ahead.
Apparently, back in 2005, I was saying there's not going to be a reprint of Coliseum due to some issues. I don't know where I would have had that information in 2015, but I must have known something. Look,
Oh.
I've been plugged in to. Anyway,
What's your number 3?
okay. I'm going to preface this by saying, I think like you, breakfast is my least favorite meal of the day.
It's not my least favorite meal. I love breakfast.
I don't.
I just am willing to eat anything at it. But
Well, I'm the
there as
same
well.
way.
Yeah.
I don't like breakfast foods as much, so I don't
Oh.
tend to always eat breakfast. I'd rather have lunch, dinner foods. Anyway,
For breakfast?
yeah, whatever.
Like cake.
I don't care. Nah, not a cake. Well, cake's good too. Well, anyway, what is a pancake? It's cake. My number 3 is actually French toast. So the
you're so
big
wrong.
kind of 3 carb ones:
There's 4.
pancakes, waffles,
Waffles.
French toast. I like
What's the
in
fourth?
reverse
Cake.
order. I like French toast,
Yep.
then waffles,
Yep.
then pancakes.
You got it right. You
I got
nailed it.
waffles, French
Yep.
toast, pancakes, but it's close.
So French toast, especially with a
agree with
good
you, I think.
bread like a brioche or something like that, it's hard to beat.
Yes.
I love a good French toast, so that's my number
Absolutely.
3.
Syrup or powdered sugar?
I'm,
Both.
At the same time?
Yes.
Which one first?
my number 3 is cake. No.
Syrup first, then the powdered
Although I
sugar.
would eat cake for breakfast, I don't care. My number 3
There you go, cake,
is
baby.
my guilty pleasure. And
Ice
if I
cream
see
cake.
it on the menu at a diner particularly, I always order it as a side dish for my breakfast, and that's hash. I just like hash.
What's your
I-
favorite meat in hash?
There's multiple?
Oh, yeah.
Well, just
Really?
corned beef, roast beef.
Oh, I have only heard of corned beef. I didn't know there
Corned
was
beef,
more.
probably,
What?
right?
You're changing
I've had it with
Three.
ham
That's
before.
cheating.
Yeah,
No,
ham
It's
is good.
done.
I'm changing my
Hash,
number
I
3.
love hash. I don't know what it is. I've had bad hash though.
Sure.
Sometimes, but a place that knows how to make it, I love it. So
I had hash for the first time in my life, like, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Or something like
I'm so
that. Yeah,
sorry,
I've
you've been
never
missing
had
out.
it.
You ate the hash house a go-go in Vegas multiple times.
And I
about,
never,
like-
no, I went to a hash, like, I went there, but I didn't get the hash.
Potato.
With corned
Hash browns?
beef and stuff.
No, that's hash browns. It's slightly different.
Oh.
No, this is.
Oh, I
this
forgot
is-
about those.
This
Hold
is
up.
like you
just
it's
don't
usually
keep it.
leftover meat, like from the night before, and you cut it into small bits, or you shred it or whatever. Usually cut.
So like corned beef hash.
Yeah, corned beef hash is a big thing.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah,
It's
no, never had
delicious.
that until a little bit ago.
All right, my number 3 is you reminded me of it when you said the diner thing, and if I see it, I get it because I do this with this one. Crepes.
Oh,
Crepes, man.
I
They're
didn't
so
even think about
thin. They're
crepes.
fluffy. They're delicious. You can fill them
Those
with
Vegas
You said big
crepes were
3.
good, man.
You said big 3, and I'm like, crepes
Savory or
is the big
sweet?
4.
sweet.
Man,
Sweet.
and those crepes in Essen were good to eat. Darn it!
Yeah, right. You got got.
I did get got. I
James,
forgot about
You still
great
got some
crepes, too.
time, Mike.
No,
you
no, I
have
can't.
more
I can't
numbers to
change
go.
my.
You
I
can
can't
do
change
it.
my 2
No.
in 1.
Yeah, crepes, nice and fluffy. Some fruit in there. Maybe a little whipped
Nutella.
cream cheese or Nutella. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. I actually had a crepe with Mike in Essen.
So good. Banana and Nutella. Oh my gosh, that was good.
Anyway, yeah, crepes. My number 3. I don't often have a big old sweet thing for breakfast, but if I get my choice of any of it, the crepes are going to be it.
You didn't have
You just had an amazing
You didn't have the
one, didn't you?
Nutella crepe, if I remember correctly.
No, I did it.
you did not.
I had a different one.
He had a different
that
one.
shan't be
That
mentioned.
shan't be mentioned
All right,
here.
Camille, what'd you have?
I'm just going to show how basic I am here. My number 3 is cereal. I love cereal. I love almost
Which
all
cereal?
cereal. What?
Number 1 cereal, though.
Number
what
1
is it?
cereal is
Fruity Pebbles.
right now.
Right now. It's a
like-
rotating list.
It is a rotating list. It depends on what I have available to me. I love them all. Like,
You're an
very.
adult. You've got everything available to you.
That's true, and I love cereal so much. I eat it.
She's evading your question, Z.
What was the
No,
question?
the
What's my
number one
favorite?
cereal.
I don't
Pick
know.
one.
I love them all. I can't. That's too much
I hate
pressure.
them all.
I can't. I love them. I love like the old lady ones.
Kicks.
Like the old. Oh my gosh, I love kicks. I'll eat kicks. I don't care.
Like-
You like
Not-
kicks?
I eat kicks. I
it's
love
the
no.
worst cereal
I
on
love
earth.
cereal. It doesn't matter what
material.
kind because
No.
I love
Packing material.
Yes.
Popcorn peanuts.
It doesn't matter. It's
The
cereal.
last time they
and
produced
I
kicks
love
was in the 90s.
cereal.
That's true.
So good.
Still,
She has it with a
still
left
showing.
over.
She
love
has
it.
it with a mug of Sanctum.
I love it. No, I usually put honey on it though, or like a little cinnamon.
You have to, because
But it's
otherwise
not
it's completely
Kix.
No,
flavorless.
it is kicks. What do you mean it's not kicks?
No, if you put honey on it,
That's
you've
like saying
changed
if you
it.
put whipped cream on your crepe, then it's not a crepe.
It's not
You know
a
what
crepe.
Kix is? It's kid tested, mother approved. That's what Kix is.
Yeah, that's true.
I like it. I like cereal
All right.
in all of its varieties.
No kid. There's no kid approved ever.
No,
What's
no.
your number 2,
It's,
Mike?
I like how they say kid tested. You know what I mean? They know that not kid approved. Mother approved.
tested.
Kid tested.
Kid
This
tested.
is trash. You're going to enjoy this.
I don't mind. I love cereal. It's okay.
My number 2 is called a number of different things. I've always considered it to be called home fries. It's a very specific type of potatoes, which are going to be usually the skin on kind of chunks of potatoes that are cooked in a skillet.
Sure.
You know, they're great.
They're cubed,
They're
is what
cubed
you're saying.
usually.
Okay, yes,
So
okay.
the home fries. Good skin on potatoes.
Yep.
Either I don't know if they're usually oven roast them or if they skillet cook them, whatever.
I like
do
them
that,
skillet best.
I do too.
Yeah, if I do that,
in a
I'm
cast iron.
frying them, yes.
Give it a little bit of a crust on there
Yep.
with some good spices, and you can go next level and put a little cheese on there if you want to.
Whoa.
But
You're
good
so
home fries,
fancy, Mike.
That's my number 2.
That was almost on my list, but it got beat out by my number 2 because I could take one or the other, but I'll pick this one, and
And
that's
your number
loaded
3.
hash browns. Straight up. Everyone makes fun of the Waffle House,
Yeah.
and for good reason.
Sure.
But the Waffle House hash brown, loaded hash brown, is divine. You know, there's just hash browns and then cheese and bacon bits or whatever you want to put on it. I mean, I wanted everything that you can make and put on it.
The biggest thing about hash browns, I love them, is that they have to be really crispy.
No,
That's the thing.
I disagree. I like them not as crispy.
no.
What?
I'm sorry, let me rephrase what I said from my own personal opinion.
Hit her with the
Your
explosive
opinion
peas.
is wrong. No.
I let your cereal thing go.
Because it was correct. It's
No,
right.
you're talking
It's
about
amazing.
cakes. I'm next. Here we go. My number 2 is something you guys already mentioned: corned beef hash.
Okay.
No, right, really?
Yeah, it is. I just wanted to clarify what we're talking about. 'Cause
Yeah,
I
yeah,
call it the whole thing. Corned beef hash, and I was like,
yeah.
hash, is that the same thing?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
I would take hash dough with other meats just because I
Yeah,
don't care.
you could get.
I like corned beef
can even
hash.
have
I don't think
turkey
I've
hash
tried
if you
other.
wanted.
I honestly don't think I've tried other meats.
Brisket is really like brisket hash and roast
I'm
beef
not a
hash.
big meat person,
That's
you know.
true. That's
so-
Yeah.
true.
What about shrimp
Corned-
hash? Is that a thing?
Shrimp hash, if that's not a
You're
thing,
for
it just
that?
became a thing, okay? You can have all the kicks you want.
You
Shrimp,
can have your shrimp
beef
hash.
I don't
hash.
know if I want shrimp hash. I love shrimp, but I don't know if that would work.
Sounds terrifying.
Anyway, corned beef hash is delicious. Yeah, a little bit of that. It's next to some other breakfast foods, which maybe I'll be mentioning shortly. That's gonna complete that breakfast for me. Yeah, I
right.
don't often have it again, but when I do, I enjoy it. Though I'm a little picky with it.
Sure.
Corned beef hash is kind of like meatballs for me,
Yeah.
where I'm a little picky about it. It's
Right,
like,
right,
this
right.
is really good. It can go from really, really good to this ain't bringing
ain't
it.
it.
It's kind of greasy. It's kind of
Right,
whatever.
right,
you know?
right.
So there you go.
My number 2, anytime it's
Oatmeal.
not specific. Oh my gosh, I love oatmeal. It's so good.
You
Like, oh
are
my gosh, with a little bit of
68
like
years
warm
old.
milk on the top.
My
It's
number
so
1,
good.
Tapioca pudding.
I eat that.
Is that what you said? Metamucil.
Mike, that was hurtful. All right, you know what? We're moving on.
I'm the oldest one here. And you're like,
That
my number
hurt.
1 is Geritol.
All right. My number 2.
I'm gonna be the youngster. I'll be like Go-Gurt.
My number 2. I will eat at any meal, but it always you say just this, and it makes me think immediately breakfast, and it's bacon. I
Yeah.
love bacon, and I will eat it at all times.
No.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
it's written down.
Crispy?
Crispy. It's got to be
Yeah.
crispy.
Yeah, you like limp bacon too, Tom? Just like you like the
Yeah, why
hash browns
not?
undercooked?
Yeah, probably.
It's not a band.
That's the name of my high school band, yeah.
I like turkey bacon.
Okay.
Oh,
And I don't
you-
like it crispy.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Basically, I just want to eat ham. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, that's really it.
Oh, no, I like
And I know I don't. I want my bacon as undercooked as I want to be able to eat it and not die.
Right, without getting
But I
salmonella.
don't like it
No one
hard and
gets
crispy.
salmonella.
Yeah.
No, I like it thick. I like thick cut bacon, nice and crispy. And I
like that.
eat it all the time. I don't, but I want to. But it always makes me think of breakfast, and it should go on just about everything.
Like cakes.
You know what
Like
bacon
Kix, I
is
put it on
really
Kix.
good in?
A
If you-
BLT.
My number 1 breakfast food, which is a breakfast burrito.
Fair enough. It's hard to argue with that.
I love a breakfast burrito with egg, bacon, onion, cheese,
Mushrooms.
and no, come on.
Yeah, why would
Don't
you
ruin,
a
don't
breakfast?
ruin my don't ruin my vibe.
Well, I
And
dropped-
then some good salsa on top. I mean, that to
Yeah.
me is
Salsa on eggs
that's
is
the
so
way to
good.
go. I'm not even a big egg fan. If I'm going to have eggs, it's going to the best way is scrambled in a
Do
breakfast.
you even
burrito.
like the McDonald's breakfast burrito?
Believe it or not, I do, but it doesn't
I
like
agree.
me because it'll tear me up.
I agree on that too.
Yeah.
But it's the
little
one thing for
sausages,
McDonald's
little
that every
sausage
time
in
I
it,
see
yeah.
it, I go, I could eat that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was my number 3 till Tom reminded me of crepes, and I dropped
okay.
it.
Yeah. So
All right. Well, me and Z, I've eaten many breakfasts together actually as we travel and stuff. And there's a crossover again, and that's crepes. My number one,
that should
not
be-
even a question for me, especially that little place in Paris.
That was really good. Well,
Hey.
Paris, Vegas.
Paris, Vegas. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. That sounded super pretentious.
That
I
did.
mean,
That
no,
one
no,
time.
Right, Paris.
Streets of Paris.
But they made this lemon blueberry crepe, which is, it's so good. But I also like savory crepes.
Yeah.
I like chicken crepes, and I like.
I'm not a
Ham
big
and
fan of
cheese,
that.
I
the
like
sweet
them
crepe.
all.
Yeah.
And I think what you should do, the perfect breakfast for me, is a savory crepe followed by a sweet crepe. Then you don't eat lunch.
Yeah.
I made that mistake when we just went to Vegas and we're like, we're going to all-you-can-eat place. I was like, oh, what a stupid choice I made.
That's right. That's right.
But
Okay.
I love crepes. When they're made, great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, my number 1 is pretty simple. It's my usual go-to. It's an omelet. I mean, it's eggs. It could have been eggs. It could have been like a fried egg or whatnot. If I'm making something, I've made omelets. They're a little trickier to make
Yep.
for me.
Gotta get that fluffy egg.
And I can scramble it. You know, I usually, if I'm trying to make an omelet, like 8 times out of 10, it becomes scrambled eggs.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah,
Same
of
thing
course.
here. You
Yeah,
flip it, you're like, it's scrambled eggs,
scrambled
everybody.
eggs.
Scrambled eggs. No. So yeah, my number 1 would be an omelet, like a nice Western omelet, pieces of ham in there, some green peppers, some onions, throw some cheese, put some pepper jack in there, and then again that salsa. You can put maybe a little hot sauce.
Yeah.
I don't think we have to just.
That'll do it.
Salsa goes on, and if it's not a sweet thing, salsa for breakfast.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
All right.
For sure.
Even on bacon.
Oh.
See, now you're wondering.
All right, my number 1 is the first thing I thought
Eggs.
of. It's been my favorite since it's one of the first things I learned to cook actually as well. But it is
Toast.
French toast.
Milk.
French toast.
Oh, that was close.
French toast.
Yeah.
It is so good. I love French toast. I love, like you said, the big brioche bread. But I also
Yeah.
love the cheap one. It's like, the
Wonder.
thin pieces. Yeah, it's the thin pieces with lots of syrup. So it's like it just like gushes in your mouth. It's so good. I love.
What do you
French
put
toast.
on it?
It depends. Do you want the list?
I would like a list.
Sometimes I like to go just like some fresh fruit with a little bit of powdered sugar on it. Sometimes I like
That's
syrup. Sometimes I'll do a little bit of peanut butter and then a little honey. I'll eat sometimes bacon. Why not? I don't know. I really like a variety of
Peanut
French
butter on
toast.
pancakes is the
It's
way to go.
really
Yeah.
good.
It is.
It's really
Yeah,
good.
it's not bad. I like butter more than peanut butter, but
Oh my gosh, butter! If you put a lot of butter on it and then you put powdered sugar, then you get this like.
It's almost like a brown sugar
Oh
at that
my
point.
gosh,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
so good.
Brown
it's like
sugar
this,
on
paste.
pie.
yeah.
Brown
Have
sugar.
you ever done that?
I usually
Brown
put-
sugar on peanut butter?
No, I haven't. I
Oh,
usually put a
and
little
on
brown
French
sugar in
toast.
my
I did
batter
that
sometimes.
growing up. 'Cause
Yeah, yeah.
in Cuba, we had access to, brown sugar.
Right.
And not peanut butter, that's not a thing. Butter.
Butter, yeah.
So yeah, that I've had.
That's delicious.
And that
almost
is
like-
really good.
It's almost like a caramel. I mean,
It
it
becomes-
really
yeah.
is,
I
right?
brought
It's
in brown
uncooked caramel.
sugar. Did you use it on the waffles?
No,
on
you
Monday?
reminded me of my childhood. No, I don't think I saw it.
All right.
It's a good list, y'all. I'm hungry.
That's
now.
our top 3 breakfast foods.
Nice.
Roy reminded me of chilaquiles, and I'm mad. That's also great. Okay.
Well, there's so many things.
There are, yeah.
I mean, again, though, you could eat a turkey sub. Okay, but
We're throwing things?
I didn't know where to put it.
today, just real quick, because we got to clear out this room so that the nature list people can come in.
Is that
But
what we are?
You're the nature list
you're
people.
the hippies.
I'll take it.
Just talking a little bit about preferences here between miniatures or meeples in games. And then, of course, I was reminded of standees. And then standees. Now, with standees, there's acrylic standees
Yes.
and
Yes.
regular standees,
Yes.
the cardboard pieces of garbage.
I agree
Agreed.
with that.
Yep.
Miniatures, it all depends, sometimes on the game, right? Like a game like Blood Rage, it's hard to imagine it with meeples, but it could have meeples. But some games actually offer the choice between meeples and miniatures. I mean, screen printed meeples when you buy them.
That's the thing.
That's a tough call.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that specifically has upped the game in meeples over recent years. Is the rise of screen printing. I think that
Yeah.
can give a lot of character. Like a game like Root, I would never want to play that with miniatures. And that's
Right.
typically kind of the type of game you would expect to see miniatures in. It's a fighty game, area control type thing.
But what if they were little painted miniature, chibi miniatures? You might like that, but you
Maybe, but
I
I,
don't think
love
so.
the aesthetic of those very simple screen printed meeples.
Matches the
It
art.
works so well.
It works like seamlessly. Like it
Right.
almost looks like you almost like start to see the meeples in the artwork,
Yeah.
but it not feeling like that meta art that you talk about, where
Yeah,
you're
which
like,
I
oh,
don't
you're
like.
calling
Oh,
out your board game.
Right,
So
right.
it looks like it without having that feeling.
Yeah.
You know, so I very much agree. It depends on the theme, it depends on the setting, it depends on the feel of the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some of the farming games, I can't imagine playing that with miniatures.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
You
me,
know?
it's a usability thing, really, is what
That's
it
huge,
is.
too.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of games have, well, not a lot of games, some games that go for the whole mini thing because it's a Kickstarter or whatever. That miniature ends up getting in the way more than helping.
Yes.
Like Monsters on Board actually just came to mind.
That's a
Has
good point.
miniatures.
Right.
They're problematic. They
Yeah.
just kind of get in the way. You know, and so a nice simple meeple would have worked fine for that.
Right.
And then if you do want all that artwork, if you do want to put that on display and a miniature is unwieldy or blocks too much, doesn't let you see what's going on, then yeah, those acrylic printed, standees are a great solution. They're sturdy, they look good.
Yeah.
They still give you that pop of color, and they'll hold up, And I agree with Tom, the cardboard ones, that's
Garbage.
trash.
Someone brought up Vagrant Song. That's the best example of that shows off that tremendous art, right? And you compare that with something like Townsfolk Tussle.
Oh my gosh, my
where
exact two games I was going to compare.
if those are painted, then that's a
Yeah.
perfect example of those are great because they're incredible minis
Yeah.
that evoke that art. I have them gray, which is not as good. Whereas Vagrant Song, I think it shows off that same type of art so well with the acrylic standee.
But I think, to your point, so I was going to bring up those exact two games with the exact, get out of my head, Mike. But I think in both of those games, I wouldn't want the other option
Right,
either.
I agree.
I wouldn't want minis and Townsfolk
No.
Tussle. Even unpainted ones, I think are better.
in Vagrant Song, you mean?
I wouldn't want standees, I'm sorry,
right, right.
in Townsfolk Tussle, even because I think the minis, even unpainted,
Right.
just represent that art
Yeah.
better and the feel of the game.
Yeah, I agree.
Vagrant Song, I wouldn't want miniatures unpainted
Yeah.
on there. I think they kind of have that ethereal feel to
Yeah,
them,
yeah.
on the board and things like that. I
Yeah,
think it
yeah.
really depends. And this is coming from someone who loves minis and loves painting them and loves getting into that theme. I think you have to know the game enough to know which one fits.
Yeah.
But for me, you guys keep talking about painting. That's a big deal.
It is.
There's a lot of games where I play them with miniatures, and it's a field of gray. And Simon's tried to get around this by having rings
Sure.
on the bottom of the
And different
miniatures.
colored plastics.
Different colored
for
Yeah,
plastics.
packaging.
plastics, but a lot of
Huge.
games don't do that. They just do one
They
big
do gray, yeah.
And I don't like that, especially when the game has a gray and then you have like one flag bearer piece that's with
Yeah.
yours, and that keeps track of yours. Minis look so much better painted. If all minis came painted, I think minis would always win for me.
Right.
But they
Really?
don't. Not always, but you know what I
Okay.
mean. If I,
Okay.
they would
Huh.
win very often. Like if Vagrant Song came with painted minis, I would really like them if it looked like that art style.
Yeah, maybe.
But they don't come painted.
Yeah.
So the screen printed meeples have the art on them,
Right.
and then the acrylic standees have that art on them. So I'm in a fortunate position now where we at Fantasia have painters painting our
Yeah,
stuff
right.
here. But like one of my favorite games, Project Elite, is a field of gray.
But do
I
you
like it, but I wish it was painted.
But do you feel, well, yes, and I will agree, I will take painted over, I will take the effort to paint it if I really like it that much and think it'll hit the table. But you said you think if it always came painted, I think I would argue that even if it always just came washed, I think just a wash can do such a
Sure.
huge
I agree on that.
difference on
Wash
that.
makes a big difference.
And that's so easy. I
Yeah.
think, yes, it's cost inhibitive and that kind of stuff for publishers at times, but just that small step makes such a huge table present difference, and it's also so easy to do on your own.
Yeah.
I wish that was more prevalent either for publishers to do or people do it themselves, and I think that changes the game.
And I get some people in the chat are like, I would want stuff on painting because I want to paint it myself. That's fine, but the vast majority of people can't paint.
Right.
Or don't want to.
Don't
Sure,
want.
don't
I'll say
want to.
don't
Yeah, yeah.
want. I
Right,
think,
right, right.
yeah, people.
Well, that's what I mean. You don't
Yeah.
want to paint, or you don't have necessarily the time that you want to invest in.
Well, you just don't
that.
care. Yeah, you just have no
Right.
interest in it. You just want the end product.
So-
and that's valid.
Yeah, painting is great and all, but again, it comes to the games. A lot of times people kind of scoff at miniatures, and I don't like that. Like, oh, you want miniatures?
Yeah.
But we do also have things like the Cthulhu miniature, where it's like, okay, we might be going
That's too much, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not a huge fan of games where there's a giant miniature in it for no reason.
Sure.
Here's a first player marker. Fine, but I feel like you increase the cost of this game, and I would have been happy with a token.
Yeah, again, they start dipping that toe, or really sometimes kind of jumping fully into the full-on toys category, where, like, you know, in board games, I consider toys with rules, to be fair, so, you know, that's fine. But you're just really going for just toys for the sake of toys. When there's a giant guy mounted on an elephant wielding 2 axes, and it's a token, for all intents and purposes, then yeah, you might have, you know, you might have jumped to the elephant.
In that case, just give me a metal coin or something.
Yeah, that's
give me a
what
metal
Fonzie
coin.
did. I
That's
remember
right, he
that.
did. He
That
did
was
jump
that
out.
was the unshowing happy
That
days.
was exactly right.
It was very
That was
exciting.
kept in the vault.
He did it with a motorcycle. Alrighty, folks, well, that's it for Board Game Smorgasbord. We'll be back in 10 minutes with Top 10 Nature Games Part 2.
Well, one of us will anyway.
One of us.
And who else?
I'm so
is that?
excited.
Roy.
Chris,
and Brian.
Oh, Camille beat them up so
Oh my
badly.
gosh.
Do it for us. All
I'm
right.
so excited.
Until next
Nature
time,
is nasty.
I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Mike DeLisio.
I'm Camilla Cleghorn.
I'm Z Garcia.
Eat your breakfast.
Bacon.
Welcome to the Dice Tower Spring Spectacular, featuring top 10s, live plays, contests, and more.